Jamie Foxx is back as Electro. I am vindicated as a fan of The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Makes me want to dance. Yeah. What's going on, you guys? James here, and today we're getting into the biggest breaking news of the week, honestly. Jamie Foxx is returning as Electro for the third Tom Holland Spider-Man film. How are they doing this? Well, we'll talk all about that and what I think it means for the rest of the Spider-Verse moving forward. But before I get into that, guys, if it's your first time here at the channel, welcome to Real James, where I talk about movies and news just like this. So if you want to see much more, go ahead and hit the big red button below, subscribe to the channel, and tap on that bell so you don't miss out on anything new. Guys, I just dropped some awesome Legend of Korra reactions and some new reviews that you'll find floating around at the top of the screen. Go ahead and smash that like button if you haven't already, and get loud in the comments below and let me know, are you excited for Jamie Foxx as Electro coming back to play once again in the Spider-Verse, or are you a little mad and maybe you wanted to see somebody else take on the role of Electro? Personally, guys, you know where I fall. Okay, so let's get into this breaking news. It's an exclusive report from The Hollywood Reporter by Boris Kitt. He writes, and I quote, "The next Spider-Man movie is getting a major jolt. Jamie Foxx, who played classic Spidey villain Electro in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, is in final talks to reprise the role for the latest Spider-Man installment, starring Tom Holland and being made by Marvel Studios and Sony Pictures." In the article, he also states that the movie is still expected on November 5th, 2021, but guys, y'all know what it is. We've seen so many delays this year and next year that I think that this movie gets delayed again. I mean, so many things that are pushed back in 2020 are falling into that November slot as well, so I envision this going to 2022. I wouldn't be mad at it though. I want this movie to come out when it's its absolute best, right? Now, let's go all the way back to The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Guys, I am a fan of Jamie Foxx's performance as Electro. I like that movie more than most. Actually, both Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies are some of my favorite Spider-Man films. I don't think they're as bad as others say they are. However, they do have a lot of faults, and sometimes the moments within the films are really cringe. I honestly don't think that the writing was the best, but it was really corporate interference. It was a lot of Sony trying to make their own cinematic universe, and it didn't really work out well. However, guys, Jamie Foxx is back. He's one of the best actors of this generation, and he's going to go down as one of the all-time greats. I found that his performance as Electro in The Amazing Spider-Man 2 was really nuanced. He went from being someone who was an incredibly smart scientist, he got bullied, and he was honestly kind of outcasted by society, to being someone who was a part of a failed experiment, and then eventually understands the power he wields and wants to push back on the same society who outcasted him, and I love that. And y'all can't tell me that final fight between Spider-Man and Electro in The Amazing Spider-Man 2 wasn't fire, okay? That thing was legit. Now, as for his involvement in Spider-Man 3, the untitled Spider-Man sequel with Tom Holland, the details are scarce. So what are we going to do today? We're going to theorize as to what he might be doing in this film. So let's go with the first thing that came to my mind, which was this might be just a different Electro, and they might just retcon everything that Electro did in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, leaving him to be a brand new Electro, however, a very familiar face behind the character. Now, if they do retcon Electro's involvement from The Amazing Spider-Man 2 and bring him in as a new character in Spider-Man 3, I'm gonna be a little disappointed. Again, I liked his performance. I love the character in the sequel back in 2014, man, I'm old. It's just gonna be a little disappointing because as an audience member, you can't assume that I'm just going to be able to detach it so quickly. It's gonna be jarring, and it might even be distracting from the overall film. That leads me into the more plausible second theory that I have. Guys, if Electro's coming back and they don't retcon his involvement from The Amazing Spider-Man 2, y'all know what this means. Spider-Man multiverse. I'm not lying. We're getting the SpiderVerse, alright guys? We're getting past Spider-Mans. Yes, I'm talking about Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire. Now, if they do that, I would be 1, super shocked, and 2, incredibly happy. Because I do believe that Andrew Garfield deserves another fair shot as Peter Parker. He was great. I think Tobey Maguire's good, but I don't think he's as great as Tom Holland and Andrew Garfield now that we've seen all these Spider-Mans play out. But having them come back would be fan service, but it would be delightful. It would satisfy me as a Spider-Man fan. I do think that it might cause confusion among some casual fans. They might think, oh boy, what are we doing? Wait a second, he was in the old Spider-Man movies. Why is he back in the new one? So they might have to explain a lot in Spider-Man 3 and beyond. But what this tells me is if they do this Spider-Verse, this multiverse for Spider-Man, and bring in some past Peter Parkers, right? I think that this would show that Sony and Marvel Studios are willing to play ball together and their relationship is a lot healthier than we thought it was going to be. See, I'm still a little sour at how Sony handled Spider-Man films in the past, but if they do this and they pull it off and it's successful, honestly, I can tell you that my faith would be restored in Sony and everything they're doing with Spider-Man and the surrounding stories around Spider-Man and the villains and the heroes. It would make me happy, and I think I'd be content with that. Now, let's be honest, this won't erase the memory of the finger gun sequence in Spider-Man 3, but at least it would put me a little bit more at ease knowing that we had to go through that mess to get to this gem. So I hope this is the direction they go, and they just bring past Spider-Mans in and then kind of create this awesome universe that plays with space and time. But we'll have to see what happens. Guys, I want to know what you think in the comments below. Do you agree with my theories? Do you have a theory of your own? And what do you think of Electro coming back to play again in a Spider-Man film? I'm so excited. And if you haven't already, go ahead and smash the big red button below, subscribe to the channel, and help us get to 3,000 subscribers. Y'all, this is real. I'm thankful for you guys. I can't wait for more reviews tomorrow and for the rest of the weekend into next week. We got a lot to talk about. So let me go ahead and get started. Again, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you at the next screening.